I'm going to demonstrate the virtual machine here. So you went through and you installed the VM Horizon client. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. There's teslaalcc.edu. I'm going to double click on that. And then you should be able to log in on your account, stars, and log in. This is going to take a little while. I've got a couple different options here. I don't know what you have, but we want the 205 computers. So I'm going to double click that, and it will start loading up the desktop. This looks just like when you log into a computer. You're going to click OK, and it will take a second to load up. Notice as it loads up at the top here, there's connect a USB device. You have some options. I have automatically connect when inserted. So at this point, once we're rolling and you want to save, you can use your computer to save something off the USB on your machine. Okay, so at this point, as this starts to come up, we have a virtual machine here. So what we're going to use is we're going to be using TIA Portal right here. So go ahead and start that software. And similar to the machines upstairs, it takes a little while to load up. And we'll take a second here. I'll pause the video while it comes up. Okay, it came up and it should have made something that looks like this. So you're going to go ahead and come up here and you want to name your first project, and I don't know what you want to call it. I can call this Lab 8 SAH. That's my initials. Your path right here, you should have put your jump drive in, and you can select this, and you can save it as onto the flash drive. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a flash drive into my computer. Okay, and so this right here that minimizes that VM, and here's the VMware right there. That's the screen right there. So I'm going to go and put my drive in, and let's see if I can find that real quick. There's a USB drive, and so I can save onto that. And I've called this lab version 5.1. I'm going to go ahead and create. I'm just going to go ahead and start creating this, and so I'll pause for a minute while it does that. Okay, that took about a minute on my computer. So we're at our screen here. We need to configure a device, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. See if that'll give it. Let me do that. And in the lab, it said that we want to add a new device right there. And what's going to kind of moves along a little bit slow. In the lab, it listed a certain PLC that we're using at 1214. But because we are doing simulation, we need a little higher PLC. So it's going to be in the 1200 right here. And the CPU I'm going to pick. And like I said, ours is a 1214 CAC DC, but that won't work. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick the highest CPU that I got right here, 1215 FC. And so in the future, pick this higher one right here. And let's see if I can get that to expand by clicking that arrow. It should expand, and oh, maybe I had it expanded. It is. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this CPU right here. And what's important is it's a version 4. That's why. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add, and it will start installing this, and I'll pause for a minute. Okay, so this should have loaded up, and it shows me a little PLC right here. So just to reminder, the portal view is down here. So if I click the portal view button down here, let's see if I can get that to go to portal view. Portal view. That's where you added HMIs and PLC systems and everything like that, but we've done that. I want to go to the project view. So in the lower left hand, if I click the project view, that brings me back to here. So but I'm going to go ahead, and in our setup, it asks you to come over here and add a signal board, an analog signal board, and a communication board. Don't worry about that. We're not going to do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I can close that window right there. So as you start navigating the software, I want to make you aware that they've got these small little arrows right here. So these are what collapse things and make them bigger and smaller. So if I click that again, that makes it go away. And you can also get on there and drag these to be a certain size. And when we get some more windows here, you'll see the little arrows there. So you'll get used to navigating around this a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is my program block is where I'm going to go to. I'm going to expand that. and I'm going to go to my main right here. And this should pull up where I'm going to do my ladder logic, okay? So here's my open contact, close contact, relay, whatever, okay? I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead a little bit, and I'm going to go into my PLC tags right here. And I'm going to do show all tags. Okay, let's see if that'll come up in a minute. And so I'm going to go ahead and add a new tag right here. I'm just going to call this PB1. We really don't have a PB1, but notice it's going to stick it in here at input 0.0. So that's .0 is our first address. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put light 1, and then I'll click down here. And it tries to make it an input. I don't want it to be an input, so I'm going to click this. I want it to be an output. Outputs are Q here. So Q00 is our first output. So once again, our first input is .0. Our next input is .1, .2, .3. Same with our lights. Our first is Q0.0, Q0.1, Q0, etc. like that. So I've created a couple of items here and I've addressed them, okay? And then, so now if I go back to my main right here, I'm going to go ahead and drag in. I'm going to get the green right there. There's my contact. And I'm just going to drag in, and there's my coil. I got a contact and a coil. I'm going to double click on the question marks here, and I get to choose. And this is going to be my PB. And I'm going to double click here. And I'm going to make that my light. Okay. So at this point, supposedly a PB will turn on a light, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I need to go and I need to simulate this. So where's my online? I'm going to go to simulation right here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start simulation and see what this does. It cannot be simulated. Do you want to enable? Yes, we do. Okay. And we'll disable all of it. That's fine. And then, so now it's going to start, it's going to launch this simulator right here. And the simulator is like a little PLC. So I need to expand it right here, switch to project view on that. And let's see if that comes up. Give it a second. I'm going to pause for a minute. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got my PLC sim. So now what I'm going to do is at the bottom here I have PLC sim and I have my Siemens. Those are my two softwares. One is the program where I kind of created everything, and the other is a simulator. This is what you normally get when you download, because when I did that it was kind of asking me to download, and so this is like the download. And when I'm clicking back into my program here, I'm going to click load and see if that will load up. And then I want to go ahead and start all modules. Yes, I do. So I will finish. Okay, so what I've got going here is supposedly I'm downloaded to my item. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click my ladder here. And I'm going to click these little glasses right here and see if I can get it to go online. Orange means I'm online, so that's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to click the little one here. I'm going to float that a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go into my sim, and I'm gonna float that a little bit as well, so I can have the two kind of right next to each other. Okay. Well, maybe I should put one high and one low, just so that we can see what's going on a little bit. I'm going to drag my windows like that. How's that? All right. I really need my ladder logic. So where's my ladder? I want my main. It's showing my main. Let's minimize this. All right, there's my main. So those little arrows, you'll get used to kind of moving stuff around. So now here's my sim. And so remember, the sim kind of is acting like the PLC here. And so I'll move that kind of down here. So what I want to do now is I want to project. I want to do a new one. That's fine. I can create that here. You can save it on your drive again. And it's creating a project. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, that took a couple of minutes actually to create that. Okay, so I'm going to come over here. Oh, it's loading my configuration from the device, so it looks like it found that. Okay, and it's compiling it. So that just means that it's acting like this is a PLC. Okay. So at this point, I've got my 1215 FC. That's what we brought. So my next step is, so once again, this simulation down here thinks it's a PLC, even though it's just a piece of software. And this up here is my ladder logic, similar to RS Logics. So I'm going to go to my sim tables. I'm going to add a new sim table. I'm going to click that. I'm going to get one to come up. So what do I want for my first address? If I click here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put PB1 there. And right here, I'm going to put my next one, and it's going to be light 1. So I now have my bit status here, and I can click this on to turn on the PB. And if you do that, you see that this did not come on. Input 10. Hang on a minute. Let me find out what's going wrong. Okay, I just had to look at that a minute. Sorry. Notice once again, it's orange up here and orange up here. If you click into each one of these, it kind of makes that window active. So this makes the bottom window active. This makes the top active. So my problem here was wasn't in run mode. So I got to hit the play button here, like start the CPU. Do I want to put it in run mode? Yes, I do. And so now it's running. So let's try that again. If I come down to PB1 and I click it as true, you'll see this automatically becomes green and the light comes on. I'm going to click it. Watch the green up top. Off, on, off, on, off, on. So basically, this is taking a simulation that I've created. Supposedly I've got a push button here that I'm turning on, and when that gets written there, that turns the light on. So your first task is to try and run through those steps that I just did, and to go ahead and get this to working. Now remember, when you're done, you want to save. You want to come in here. You want to save this program. You want to close it, and then you want to exit out of the virtual machine, so that next time you start up, it's going to be brand new, and you should be able to go in and load up your project off of your flash drive. Okay, so once you have this working and you feel comfortable about those steps, you're going to move through your lab. But remember, pick this 1215 PLC. Don't worry about adding the analog input card, and just see if you can get the OR logic working. For example, I'm going to show you this real quick. If I bring this down here, that's how you do the OR logic, like this, and then you have to close it up like that. So those that are going to do the OR, that's kind of how the OR, and then you would give this an address. In the lab, it kind of has you go input 0.1, like that. And then if I wanted to modify that, what I could do is just hit the download button real quick and click load again. And this is all working really well. And notice it kind of does it both on here. And I want to go back to my ladder again, but it kind of disappeared. I got to get this arrow right here, collapse that. And let's just see if I were to come here and I were to add another tag. I just had tag 1. That's what that was. That's called tag 1. And so it looks like this or this could turn that on. So if I click this one off, but I click the bottom one on, it looks like an OR is working. So good luck, and shoot me some emails if you're not sure how this is working.